engaged today. So, share. We're on this stage out here. It's the people agendas. Share. All right, he's looking for the, Let me get one youth up here, man. Let me get one youth. One youth. I need one youth. You, right there, who's pulling away? I'm about to do it anyway. Come here. Come here. All right, man, what's your name, man?
Taylor.
How old are you, man?
14.
14. What you want to do when you grow up, man? You're still young. What you want to do when you grow up?
In the NBA.
He wants to be in the NBA, y'all. Right on. Give it up for bro. Right on. You can do it, bro. I believe in you. You got that. Let's get it. I think like 3 of y'all know this song, right? Okay. Yeah. I guess you've wondered where I've been. I searched to find a love within. So what, Chicago? So I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. Yeah. Cause my friends wonder what is wrong with me. Cause I'm in the days from your love, you see. So I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. Oh no. Some people go around the world for love, and they may never find. Chicago, I know y'all know it, but now, say what? What you want. You tried everything, but you won't give up. Hey, cause in my world, only you, hey, made me do for love what I would not do. Hey, cause my friends wonder what is wrong with. Cause I'm in the days from your love, you see. So I came back to got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. Oh no. And though I only want the best, it's true. I cannot believe the things. Chicago, y'all shut it down. Say what? What you want. You tried everything, but you won't give up. Cause what? Cause in my only, hey, made me do for love what I would not do. Hey, if y'all believe what I'm saying, if y'all feel it, repeat after me real quick. Say this. Say, oh yeah. Say, oh yeah. Say, oh yeah. Say, oh yeah. Say, oh. Say, oh. Say, oh. Hey. Say, oh. Yeah. Hey. All right. Chicago, how y'all feeling? We're at the people's agendas. Share. Go ahead, doctor. You go ahead and do your thing, man. Give it up for the DJ, y'all. He's shutting it down. So I played the 10-man a couple years ago. So if y'all know the what part, y'all do it. I'm looking for the sisters. Right on. Yeah, so what would I do if I could suddenly feel and know once again what I feel is real? I could cry, I could smile, I could lay back for a while. But tell me what would I do if I could feel? Whoa. So what would I do if I could reach inside of me and to know how it feels to say I like what I see, then we'd be more than glad to share all that I'd have inside of here. Oh, and the songs my heart might bring, you'll be more than glad to sing. And if a tear came to my eye, think of all the wounds they put me in, and just to think of the time that I could spend being vulnerable again. So tell me what, whoa, whoa. So tell me what, oh, so tell me what, whoa, if I could feel, if I could feel, whoa, yeah, if I could feel, if I could feel. Y'all feeling groovy? Right on. So I got this next song. It's called Breakdowns. Right on. I written and produced this song. It's an uplift. But last song? Okay, groovy. No, we're about to do okay, groovy. We're about to do Breakdowns. It's my last song and I'm gonna shake. Right on? Right on? Okay, this is how the song goes. I will continue to be. Can y'all say it? Say, I will continue to be da-da-dum-dum, the best that I can be. Say it, the that I can be. I see you. Okay, let's get groovy. Let's get groovy. Hey, yeah. All right, all right, all right. I'm done with the breakdowns, done with the face mouth, done with these people. All they do is break hearts. What we do for, cause all we with the, all I hear is this is, are we even? Now why I'm never happy, I've been in the shadows, dealing with my battles. It be such a, but we not gonna give up. We been on this. Y'all ready? I think y'all got it. Everybody say, I will continue to be the best that I can be. I want the angels and the mistletoe. Star boy like I'm Nicola. 3 cuts like I'm Figaro. Cause soon I'll be tossing money like I'm doing the, I was steady in the cut, looking for some, couldn't find it in myself, I guess I wasn't in it. Turns out when it's, y'all got it? Everybody say, I will continue the best that I can be. Not because I will continue to be, the best. If y'all believe what I'm saying, say this real quick. Say, ooh, ooh. Say, ooh, ooh. Like you're hot. Say, ooh, ooh. Say, ooh. Say, oh. Say, oh. Say, oh. Hey. Say, oh. Now because we will continue to be, the best that we can be. Say this for yourself, say this for yourself. That I can be, that I can be, that I can be, that I can be. Give yourself a hand, man. Y'all rocked it out. My name is Zion Ali, Zionali. I would love for you to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, ZIONALI. I would love to come to your celebration, to your party, and especially to your school, just to show the kids that we don't have to be what the media is trying to make us to be. Right on? Right on? Shout out to Bobby for this opportunity. Shout out to my awesome manager, Marshall. Shout out to Reverend Jesse Jackson. Rainbow Push, the People Agenda. It's your boy Jay-Z. I'm out of here. Share. Oh, Gerby, we're here until Sunday. People's agendas, share, come pop out. No, for real, we're here till Sunday. Come pop out. It's all about love. It's all about community, bringing each other together and throwing out ideas so how we can help each other. Right on? So the people can help the people. Right on? Right on. God bless all y'all, man.
Thank you so much. As we continue with our next panel, this panel is entitled Higher Education, Democracy, and Civil Engagement, the Contemporary Role Universities Play in Developing the Next Generation panel. And it'll be moderated by Tyler Hough, who is Executive Director of Chicago Center and Philadelphia Center. Let's show our panelists and our moderators some love by giving them a round of applause. Clap, clap, clap.
Excellent. Can you all hear me all right? Great. Thank you so much for that introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. As Reverend Rudolph shared, I have the opportunity to serve as the Executive Director of the Chicago Center. We bring college students from rural communities to Chicago to help them gain practical experience, and through a really intentional community-based partnership with Rainbow Push, help them understand the nuances of urban life and a lot of the paradoxes. Got a lot of our students here with us this fall. Let's give them a shout out. Cool. So we can head on into the conversation. I know we've got a bit of time together with you all, and thank you to everyone up here for coming in. All of you flew in, whether it was last night or this morning, so really appreciate you all joining us. Higher education today is in a precarious place. There are attacks coming from the left and the right. You know, the right says the attack is on DEI, woke ideology, removing and banning DEI efforts in offices, a lot of the public university systems. On the left side, there's critiques, complaints, challenges around the return, the value, all while our nation becomes more divisive, where a lot of those skills for civic engagement, civil discourse, dialogue have evaporated from a lot of core curricula and other preparation programs and things like that. And so today's panel is going to talk about a lot of those topics. We also think about the protest movement that has really shifted on campuses and become much more powerful, especially as we take into consideration the Israel-Hamas conflict and the genocide that's happening in Palestine. And then, of course, we have a really influential election that's coming up in more than a few weeks, but not much more than that. And so thinking about voting, how do we mobilize young people, and so much of that. So Naima, why don't we get started with you? You are coming in from Rutgers as the Senior Vice Chancellor for Belonging, Strategy, Diversity, and Community Engagement. And your work is both at Rutgers Camden as well as thinking about the broader university system. How do you think about and define democracy and topics like civic engagement in your role? And then how do you think about that from a university system level?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Tyler and the Push Coalition, for having me. I wrote down my notes so that I don't speak excessively long, so please bear with me. So, I think about democracy really simply in that it is the role of the people to choose who they want to represent them in elections that are free and fair, that we have protected rights as individuals, and that there is some social equality to who we are as citizens, that everyone should have equal rights and opportunities. These are the things that our country was founded on, but we have not lived up to these ideals here in the United States. So civic engagement for me at Rutgers University Camden is helping our students and our community partners understand the ideals of of our country, where these ideals have gone wrong, and what they can do as individuals to change them. And it's also to help our students and to help our larger community understand that we are all interconnected. So civic engagement means to me, participating in activities intending to improve the quality of life in one's own community by addressing issues of public concern. So whether it's homelessness pollution or food insecurity. These aren't issues that are conservative or Democrat. They're issues that impact everybody, and we want to develop the skills in our students and the larger society to be able to see that and understand that. Civic engagement can be political, it could be the act of voting, but it could be non-political, participating in group activities, tutoring after school, volunteering in community gardens and food banks. But the success of these things leans on the fact that we all have to think of ourselves as a member of a communal society. We all have to believe that our fate and our lives and what we have is intertwined with somebody else's. We have to believe that we have this moral and civic imperative to help society as a whole. So at Rutgers Camden, we do this work by engaging our students, our faculty and staff to think globally about this stuff, but to think locally about it also, to think about it in our own backyard. The city of Camden, where Rutgers University Camden is situated in, is a city of largely African Americans and Latinos who have suffered economic challenges, social inequities. So how do we help our faculty, staff, and students understand that we cannot just simply exist as a higher education institution in a neighborhood, but that we must be deeply invested in that neighborhood to make change. And so we do that in a number of ways. One of the most powerful ways is that we pay for young people in the city of Camden to go to college. We want to make sure that access to higher education and Rutgers University specifically is going to be a pathway for the young people in our city. So we can talk about it a lot more, but that's how I think about civic engagement. That's how I define it. And my role is every day at the institution to make sure we're living up to that promise.
Appreciate that. So David, I want to turn to you now, and your role is the president of Malcolm X College. And I think I'm seeing this connection here, as Naima mentioned, about community, right? And thinking that community is so essential to the work of civic engagement, and really higher education institutions are embedded in communities. For you, and really a lot of two-year colleges, play a different role in that of the communities around them and the role that they're able to help advance communities. How do you think about topics like democracy, civic engagement for your college, your students? How does that play out for you?
Well, thank you, and certainly I appreciate this opportunity. And at Malcolm X, the key element is that your voice must be heard, and it must be incorporated into everything that happens, not just in the community, but within our college, to ensure that we're providing you with exactly what is needed for you to succeed. You know, every day we gain a student who has a different perspective and has a different ideal about what they want to achieve and what they need in order to be successful. And I think we have to understand that we have a job not only to educate them according to our student learning outcomes and things like that, but we got a job to unlock the ability and the excellence that's in each and every student. So we have to give them that opportunity to engage and the confidence to know that their voice matters, their ideas matter, that they, no matter where they came from, that they're equal. And well, I'm probably going to get on my soapbox now, that they're better than a whole lot of folks think that they are, and that they need to step forward and move forward and advance these great ideas they have, because our democracy is going to be better because of them.
Appreciate that. And what I hear you saying is that before we can think about how students can take action with their ideas and contribute, they need to know that they can do it, right? It's the confidence. It's that you are enough, you can succeed, you are loved, and that you are going to do great things. And from a more practical sense, right, when you think about your leadership team or your faculty, student programs, where does that sit? How do you think about putting that throughout the university or throughout the college?
Yeah, so, one of the things that we do is, first, the community is embedded in every single program that we have. We have advisory councils, and we invite the community in to be a part of that, so that students have an opportunity not only to engage with our faculty and staff, but they have an opportunity to engage with the community, especially in our employer partners are part of that as well. So all of them, every one of our health science and nursing programs, and overall for our gen ed programs, we have a community advisory council that helps us to do that. We created a community action council so that I have the ability to share with the community what we are doing, gain insights from them, and we bring our students to that Community Action Council as well. I think the other thing that's really critical and has worked tremendously well for us is we created a study abroad program. And in that study abroad program, which is typical, it's atypical for a community college, we embedded student learning outcomes of identity attainment, cultural competency, and civic engagement. So that is what they're required to come back with, and we structure the program so that they'll have opportunities to engage with their heritage, their background, people that they've never met before but were told about, and it has produced a tremendous amount of self-confidence in our students where they believe in themselves now. They came back from these 5 trips that we took to the continent of Africa saying they're coming back to change their communities because they understand the power of one, that it just takes one of them to come in and advance this idea that we can be better.
The transformative impact of both the experience, right, experiential learning and the immersive nature of that, as well as hearing these stories, right, hearing that people are doing this work, that I too can find inspiration in that, and that work has got to be powerful. So thank you. Walter Kimber, I want to turn to you now as president of Talladega College and HBCU in Alabama, and as someone who is deeply invested in the HBCU efforts across the country, HBCU colleges. As a past president for, 20 years, would you say, across the higher education space, mostly with HBCUs, I'm sure a lot has changed and a lot has stayed the same over your time. What would you say is the state of civic engagement and preparation today compared to that of maybe 20 years ago or 40 years ago?
Well, first of all, just want to say greetings from Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama, where I have been the interim president for 51 days. They had an abrupt change, and they were looking for somebody who could come in, and as somebody who's been a president almost 20 years, that made it easy. It's actually where my wife went to school, so she sent me, so I'm on mission, but I have to remind him I'm on loan for my wife. So when I first became a college president, it was 2004. So we're looking at the Bush administration, and there was really a lot of support, and particularly for HBCUs is interesting. When there's all of the fighting in Congress, one of the entities that really has had a lot of bipartisan support are HBCUs. We're mostly in the South, so we're in red states, but a lot of support comes from Congressional Black Caucus and a lot of blue states. So imagine being a president then, and then, of course, 2008 is when you have your historic election of Barack Obama. And so it was just incredible to see the energy. I mean, I started working on college campuses in the 90s. I mean, at Emory University, and there just wasn't the same kind of energy. But I think for a lot of particularly students of color to see the image of Barack Obama, and it was funny because I was president of Philander Smith College in Little Rock at the time. So when you're in Little Rock and Hillary Clinton is running, everybody's sort of like Hillary Clinton, and my wife and I were like, Obama. They were looking at us like we were crazy, but we could just feel the energy. So you saw that energy, and of course, what happened in those elections in 2008 and 2016. There was a study, though, that showed, particularly for HBCUs, we saw this drop in voter participation for 2016, that people just weren't excited about Hillary at the point in time. And so we've seen this ebb and flow. We're at a point now where you have Vice President Harris running, who not only is an HBCU graduate, but is a member of one of the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities. So that once again, now we're seeing a kind of energy that we haven't seen since 2008. And I keep telling people it's on steroids now, because if you think about how social media has changed, Facebook starts in 2004, Twitter, I still call it Twitter, 2008, and all those things, Instagram, I think 2009, all those things have helped. So now it's easier for people to mobilize, and particularly for young people to use social media for engagement. And so that's what we're seeing now. So it's exciting to see that. And so hopefully now we can have really serious platform conversations with both candidates to say, here are the issues that are important to young people. Here are the issues important to HBCUs, and how do we get those candidates to respond to those? So I think it's an exciting time, but I think that we have to use the attention we're getting, and particularly in the HBCU space, we've gotten a lot of attention once Vice President Harris was elected, and that's when you saw the work of Stacey Abrams in Georgia, who's HBCU graduate, Raphael Warnock, HBCU graduate, the mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, HBCU graduate. So all over the place, we saw this new era of HBCU activism, which has been very important.
I appreciate the addition, and I definitely want to come back to that about how can HBCUs, how can this generation really lean into that momentum and hold on to it for us going forward. I think that's a really excellent segue into the next question for Skye. So you are a senior at Brown and the granddaughter of Reverend Jesse Jackson. So activism, engagement, both on the local scale and national scale, no choice but to be here, but to participate, right? And so I'd love if you could share a bit about your perspective. What do you think about the challenges you and your peers face as it relates to some of the topics we're discussing today, be that barriers to engaging in civic activities, be that voter participation? Would just love to hear from you on those.
I mean, first of all, it's such an exciting time. I think a lot of my friends and I are definitely really excited just for the Democratic National Convention in general next week, and just to see like the next couple months and what that looks like. I think that some challenges are really always just trying to find those community-based spaces. So I'm always like telling my dad, being like, we need to like give the push this like ginormous building to like students and for everyone to like be able to rent out the classrooms and use the facilities. And I really think that like third spaces, oh my goodness, you guys in the rain. Oh my gosh. Okay, bear with us. But yeah, community-based spaces I think is huge, and I know a lot of this work historically, like I've been really intrigued to look into how the church has functioned, and like what the church looks like now for students, especially students on university campuses. And I think it was quite sad seeing like with a lot of the protests, some of those community-based spaces not being as safe anymore, not feeling as safe. So continuing to make sure that those pathways are open for students, and that they feel like that they have a safe space outside of where they're living, especially since the university campus, it's really important for it to be a home away from home, and for them to expand and explore what they might not have known in their communities back at home. And so I think the university space is huge because you're forced to kind of reckon with and really manage different people's opinions and perspectives. And that's like really challenging if you don't have administrative support who's kind of sometimes hand-holding every step of the way.
I appreciate that because as we think about the shift in the resources for a lot of public institutions in more conservative leaning states, where the institution used to be this space, that safe space for some of this education, some of the engagement and the activism, now have to look to community partners to be able to do that and really invested in those partnerships in that way. Walter, I want to start with you with this next question, and Naima and David, feel free to jump in if you want to add here. So the last year, really since October, when the Hamas attacked Israel, has really galvanized the student voice in a way that I don't think campuses or leaders have seen before, right? And it seems like there's no end in sight to the conflict. And if I know that the current administration and Vice President Harris are talking about it, I imagine we'll see some movement in that from a U.S. perspective. But thinking about this more locally on campuses, do we think that, and Walter in particular, do you think that we're seeing a new wave of student activism, or is this just another event that continues to sort of thrive or create the space on college campuses for students to share their voice?
Yeah, no, I think it is a new wave of activism. It's been interesting because when all of this happened, I was doing some work with Rutgers, New Brunswick, with their Center for Minority Serving Institutions. So I was Monday morning quarterbacking a lot of things that were happening on campus, like, oh, let's see how y'all gonna handle this. It was pretty interesting. But I saw some differences, particularly if you look at HBCUs as a whole. You didn't see a lot of those protests. And part of the challenge, I think, is that it reminded me that, and you may have seen this on your campus, there are some places where students didn't really have an opportunity to say, I'm going to be able to camp out on campus and protest, because they had to go to work. They had just those, it's not that they didn't care, and I think sometimes it was painted a little unfairly that, well, why are they protesting at HBCUs or some community colleges or commuter institutions? It's like they were juggling 2 or 3 or 4 different things. And so to me, it just showed just that there still is some disparity in terms of having the ability to protest, and then just the ability to be involved in, political engagement as a whole. So for me, we have to start thinking about how do we make sure that everybody has a chance to participate in the political process, and it's not determined by your finances or anything like that. I think that's important. The other thing it showed me, and I had a chance to write about this, on a lot of campuses, particularly on a large campus, those in leadership have, I think, too often just seen themselves almost as corporate CEO types. And that doesn't work in today's higher education space. You need to get out, know your students, engage with them. I mean, last night at Talladega, like I said, I'm only going to be there for a year, but we had our SGA induction. I'm sitting right there, just participating. There'll be all kinds of things that they have that I'll be, because when you have those conflict and have to have hard conversations, we can have a different kind of conversation if we know each other. If she's never seen me before, she's just going to talk to me like I'm crazy. And that's what we're seeing on campuses, that they're yelling and shouting at people like they don't know them because they don't have relationships. And I'm just looking at people like, I don't think I've ever had a student talk to me the way they talk to some of these other folks. That's because I invested time in a relationship. So even if we disagree, and if I have to put my hands on them and shake them, be like, look, you're not going to talk to me like that. We got enough of a relationship to do that. So I think that's been the weakness that is, that I think those of us who lead higher education institutions, and I actually spoke for a conference of international student educators a couple months ago, it's got to be hand in hand. We've got to be out there, get to know our students and have those relationships, and then take these experiences and have difficult conversations and be a part of the conversation and not just say, okay, I'm going to wipe out this encampment. I think there were some times people, they shouldn't have messed with it, and they did, and they created more of a problem than they should have. That was just me, like I said, on Monday morning quarterbacking, because I didn't have to make the decision. But overall, I just saw a lack of comfort and connecting with people, and we got to do a better job.
I appreciate that. I think we're being asked to go inside, so we can pick up the conversation when we head in there.
You want us to take the mics? Okay.